So we've got this deer all skinned out, and now the next thing to do, if we're going to debone it, is to break it down. And we're going to start by removing the shoulders, which float, by the way. There you go, one shoulder. So the shoulders float, so what we're going to do is just start cutting along the body there until we find that seam where the shoulders are floating, which is right there. Bring it down along the body, along the neck, and there it is. That's the second shoulder off. So what we're going to do now is remove this flank here. We want to get too close to the meat, but we're going to go right to the rib here, and we're going to remove this because this is basically a meat that you can use for grind or jerky if you like. Okay. You can see the tenderloins in there. We'll get to those in a minute. Now we're going to take this deer down and we're going to take the hindquarters off it. The first thing you're going to do is take your knife, as I did on this side, and sort of just draw this line down here about the way you want to take the cut. I've done so right here on the other side, and it runs kind of like that. We're just going to continue that cut, and I will enlist my assistant Rusty, I guess, to help me out by holding that handle. How's that looking right there? There we go. I think we got a bit of a bone here. We got to remove. So there it is. Okay. We'll cut her right about there. So again, right about there. That looks good. So here we are. These are the tenderloins, some of the nicest parts of the deer, and we're going to remove them as gently as we can. So what I like to do is I kind of like to reach under them, and then you want to cut right to the bone along the length. I would rather be cutting as much of this as possible, and you go right along the length here. And same thing here, and you'll see it basically will fall out on you once you get it nice. I kind of missed the tip here, but we'll get that in there anyway because it's nice sampling for the cook. And so this is all the tenderloin. We're just going to continue slicing it until we get it out of there. And that's so again, you try to get under it and run your knife along the bone for the length of this thing. And once you do that, it'll start following you out. And you can do the other side as well, same idea. And that's my spaniel in the background making a whole lot of noise because she wants to be part of this, which is probably a really bad idea. And here's the second one. And next thing we're going to do is remove the hindquarters from this deer, and that'll allow us to deal with the hindquarters separately and the main section as well. So what I like to do is first I make this cut down the middle, and then what I try to do is follow this bone. And it's a kind of a tough, tricky thing to do, but you basically have to have to go down the end here, toward the middle, and open it up a bit, and then just start slicing down the bone there. You're going to find joints and just follow them. Slice as much as you can around that sort of, I guess, trying to recall what here's the joint here, you see? You're going to slice around that joint and play around with it. Slice around it until you get it free. And that's kind of the trick of this, getting that joint free. There it is. And once you get that joint free, what happens is, as again, I'm gonna clean up, get into here now, and again, we're gonna work with what you got here. We're gonna cut that joint free, and we're just gonna keep cutting until we come around the back, and you let this go that way. There we go. Kind of gotta play around the bones until you get it right. But here we go. You gotta keep cutting, and it'll free itself eventually by its own weight. And now I want to keep my hand out of there. That's the big thing. And we got to turn this a little on the side there. Little bit. And where's the bone? That's the bone right there. We're just about free. And there we go. And that's one. Okay. And then we can keep that in the cooler right now. We'll put that outside to the cooler. But you see what you've got here. It's not as pretty as I would have liked to make it, but we've got a nice big piece of meat here that we're gonna be able to deal with the bone on the end there. So let's we'll get this into I guess the cooler right now. We're outside in one of the boxes outside to keep it. It's a nice piece of meat though. Is that a bone free?